And he worked on it over the next few months, happy as a bird. People couldn't figure out what had happened to Joe. He was working on it in secret. So he would stuff it behind him if people came in the shop. When he had it in the frame, he would pull a sheet over it, Didn't mention it to anybody, just worked along on his quilt about the Garden of Eden. And all the while he was working, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was making, and he knew what people were going to say. He could already hear them talking in his head. I have to get used to being the talk of the town. When word of my latest quilt gets around, no more blending with the background. When everybody wants to know, how did he do that? Where can I get one? How did he do it? Sure, I've made a lot of fancy shirts, done my share of hard patchwork, but that was just beans to this rich dessert. Now everybody will want to know, how did he do that? How did he do it? I know I'm in the wrong business if I wanted respect. I'd have to be a banker or a priest. That's how you can tell I wrote this song 10 years ago. I know I'm in the wrong business if I want respect. You'd have to be a banker or a priest. The only time an artist gets any of that is when he paints his masterpiece. When everybody wants one, it's gonna be rough. There's no way I can work fast enough. I'll have to raise my prices or I'll never keep up. When everybody wants to know, how did he do that? Where can I get one? Can't figure it out. Just about hear him right now. Good morning, Mr. Headley. I heard about your new quilt. I didn't realize we had such a great artist living right down the street. So he got the quilt done, and he decided to have a party, like an unveiling, and he invited a bunch of his friends to come on over on a Sunday afternoon. So everybody crowded in. It was kind of warm, a little stuffy in his little shop. Sirens every once in a while would go by. He asked for a couple of volunteers to get up and help him. And he got ready to tell his story, about the Garden of Eden. So let me tell you about the garden. He was all ready. He's got his mind fixed on this. And when the time came, he said, okay, and they unveiled the quilt. Yeah. Ooh, they said. The people in the crowd. Maybe if you came over here a little bit, be a little hotter under the light. Yeah. Thank you. Then he got ready to tell the story, and then there was a voice came out of the back. I think it was Billy. He said, hey, Joe, you still got that green and red one that you were working on last week? Yeah. Well, can we see that one too? Well, yeah, so he showed him the green and red one, and then then somebody else said, hey, what about that all-white one you had? You still got it? Yeah. So he showed him the all-white one. Somebody wanted to see the blue one. And then everybody filed out. Thanks for the show, Joe. So he felt a little foolish. Nobody had actually gasped for air, it turned out. But it had gotten him over the hump. And he figured out what he was going to do for the rest of his life was to make quilts for everybody in his town.